What is up, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of RJ's Reviews, where I take a look at some things that are interesting, to say the least, to me. So, if you've been watching the channel for the past while, I've been doing a lot of stuff about Game Builder Garage, and for the most part, it's been well received, except about a week and a half ago, I got a bit of a negative comment about how I am not really doing that good with the frame rate, and Now, I have made this blatantly obvious in a lot of my other Game Builder Garage videos, but this one I didn't, and, yeah. So, in fact, some people were even blaming me for emulating this on garbage hardware, and, well, I am not. It's just that the capture card I was using, and I am kind of using, is just not that good at its job. As I've noted, I don't, in the review I did about this thing about a year ago, I realized that this is actually a very slow capture card. I mean, it's literally like more seconds per frame than frames per second. I believe this one's about 5 frames per second. It's not very good, especially when you're trying to do YouTube stuff where people do want to see things, and it's a very simple thing. You can have these things for like $8 to $10, so not that expensive, but it's a pretty good bargain. But you know what, it's not that good when you're trying to do something like YouTube where literally everyone's probably going to judge you for having low frame rates. Therefore, to alleviate this issue, I got this, which is basically a better capture card. And this time they actually documented this thing with actual video, and basically it seems to suit my need as best as possible, because, well, it just shows like a literal Nintendo Switch running an actual Switch game, which in this case is Mario Odyssey. So you know what? And it seems to be running flawlessly on here, so you know what? Let's take a look at it. Of course, this thing is about 4 times as expensive as this, which puts this at about $40, but you know what? It's not that bad of a price when you compare it to other things, but you know what? Let's just take a bit of a look at it. Alright, so you get the box, as always, and, if we undo the thing here in the box, you get the thing itself. This I have seen come in many forms, kind of like this one. It's come in way too many forms, it's sold by many sellers and manufactured under different brands. And if you get it out of there, you can see that they tried to make it look all fancy and professional by having all metal and all good case design, all that. As you can see, surprising bit bigger than this. But yeah, it's one cool thing, because, well, not only that, but you get a pass-through on it. Let me just manual focus on that. But yeah, you get a pass-through, and they say USB 3, but I've seen some reviews of this that have been more like, this is more of USB 2 that struggles to get to USB 3. Also, this could kind of be used as a mixer / I believe audio interface, because yeah, you have the mic in and headphone. It's 1/8" jacks, but otherwise you get a USB 3 cable. It's in blue to tell you that, yeah, this is complete USB 3. And let's just unwind this thing. Yeah, they give you an okay cable. I mean, it's full USB to USB, It's about as long as the USB Type A cables that they supply with Arduinos, especially the knockoff ones. I don't know if actual Arduinos do that, but it's a little longer than the cables they put in Arduinos, More importantly, if you have a new machine that doesn't even have actual full-sized USB Type-A's at all. You get a nice USB Type-C to Type-A adapter. This also kind of makes sense if you have like a phone that you can plug things into, or even the iPad Pro, I believe, could have it, because, you know, the iPad Pro, it has USB Type-C, I believe. I believe Apple abandoned the Lightning port on that version of the iPad. And the bottom, you get a manual, like expected, you know. Tells you what you can use it with, how to set up OBS. This is of course tailored to Windows. And yeah, it's definitely a bit basic. But you know what? It's a good getting started guide. And with that out of the way, let's get onto the Linux machine where I do all these recordings and give a little bit of a test run with it. Alright, so we're back on the Linux machine again. Back in OBS with the capture card. And of course I'm popped into studio mode here because not only can you see the capture card and well, it's actually and if we just pop into the capture card a bit, we can see that the frame rate is real good. Games like this, and especially stuff made in Game Builder Garage, as you may be well aware, usually there are some pretty, usually the colors in this game are vibrant. The only issue I've really noticed with this capture card is the screen tearing issue, which really doesn't affect me that much. I kind of half expect that because, well, it's not really, it's kind of not really, I don't think it has any VSync or FreeSync support at all, but you know what, it doesn't really cause that many problems. And yeah, this is a game that I had showcased on the last shorts video, so yeah. So basically, it's pretty solid, but let me just switch back to OBS in its entirety and kind of show you how to get to this, because the one thing that I really noticed is that if you try and just plug this in and just open up OBS, you probably won't get a result similar to this. As it stands, I have it set to things, but the only thing that's really different is the video format. I have it on BGR3 when OBS normally goes for YUYV422. You kind of want to avoid it on a lot of these cheap capture cards because they don't really support that well and will give you a very low frame rate when you do run it at this thing. So usually YU12 and YV12 are the ones you'd probably want to go for. As for resolution, I mean, it'll just detect the resolution automatically of whatever thing you plug into it, I guess. Frame rate, I have it on leave unchanged, but you get to choose from different frame rates, you know, from real garbage to real high. I would show what it looks like if you leave it on YUYV422, but it's basically the frame rate is just like 5 FPS max, so yeah. But yeah, and for color range, you can have full, partial, or default. Usually this is good to have because a lot of these cheaper capture cards do have a bit of a thing where there is a lot of chromatic overration. I know with the garbage capture card that I had before this, that I still do have, it had a kind of garbage color range where it was like, where it was overexposed and super bright in a lot of areas. This would be a good setting for that. You know, use buffering, I don't know if I would have that on. But yeah, if you have the settings like with that one thing changed, this can make itself into a really good capture card. And for $40, this is pretty good. Definitely a bit better than this. And I'm gonna let you bask in more footage of this capture card because it's like, because despite having VSync issues or FreeSync issues if it's AMD based, but this is Nintendo Switch, so VSync. Yeah, there isn't much of a problem. But yeah, it's a pretty solid capture card, and yeah, and even though you do have to do a bit of manual poking around with the settings, and they don't really tell you it in the manual at all, it does do you okay. You can definitely play a game without a monitor, and if you do find yourself needing a second monitor to just pass through it with, this is a pretty good one for that reason as well. It's really nice. I'm gonna have to give this a solid, at least a good solid 7 out of 10 due to the settings and the VSync issue, but you know what? It works good as long as you have things correct and working just right. But anyways, I think I'm going to end this video off here, and yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe because I'm going to be doing a lot more Game Builder Garage content over the next few weeks. Also, even when I'm not doing Game Builder Garage content, sometimes I do end up covering other topics such as electronics and test tools and other devices that can be reviewed, you know. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video, and bye.